Welcome to the CORE Cultivation Podcast, where we break down the moves that matter most for your mental and physical well-being. I'm Marcia, your wellness architect with a mic, a mat, and a mission, and this is where coaching meets real life, so you can commit, own, rest and reflect, and engage your way to better health. Before we get started, please remember the information shared here is for educational purposes only and is not for formal medical or mental health advice. Always follow the guidance of your licensed healthcare provider. If you're in crisis, please dial 988 or go to your nearest emergency room. By listening, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own mental and physical well-being, and you release CORE Fitness, me, and any affiliates from any and all liability. Let's get started. Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast. Appreciate you taking time to drop by and spend a little time. I am super excited to talk to you today about self-love. It is more than just bubble baths, y'all. Oh my goodness, this is a topic I just enjoy getting into. And given that we are in the month of February, the month of love, Valentine's, all of that stuff, I think it's only appropriate that we spend a little time talking about self love. So let me just go on and clear some things up from the get. I am not against bubble baths, love them, take them all the time, need them, appreciate them. I am not against candles. Love them. I've got some that I just have open and I can just smell even without them burning. I am not against a spa day and a massage. Require them, need them, got to have them in order to recover from all of this movement that I'm doing. I love these things. I love bubble baths. I love candles. I love spa day. All these things are great, but we've got to be honest. Self love is not just about these comforts and these feel goods. It's about work, it's about courage, it's about courage to do the things and address the things that you need to within yourself. So, I have mentioned this multiple times in my work and in some of my talks. When you see the concept of self love and wellness in social media or in media in general, you will see soft lighting, affirmations, beautiful scenery, bathtubs, cosmetics, beauty products. All of these things, not wrong, but that's not all self-love is. Self-love again is courage and work, and that involves taking some time to look at your boundaries, having hard conversations, and also growing. And growing usually means dealing with some uncomfortable feelings and tension that you might be carrying. I'm not against the feel goods. Happy they're there, that's great. But self love is not just about the comfort. And as a matter of fact, it's about dealing with the uncomfortable and the discomfort that you may be avoiding in your life. You got to get to the issues that are playing in the background and choosing what's best for you, even when it is uncomfortable. So let's go on and try to distinguish the difference between some of these things that look good and the feel goods versus the work of self love. So, the feel goods, the self soothing activities, the bubble baths, wine nights as a way to unwind, as part of people's de escalation and kind of de stress routine. Not judging, that's their route. Retail therapy. How many of you can admit to taking some time and strolling? Well, I guess we don't stroll anymore. Maybe we're scrolling through the websites and shopping and throwing things in our cart and buying things as a way to feel good. And actually scrolling through your social media, scrolling through your phone, numbing out by tapping into other things, checking out anything that's going to allow you to shift the attention externally versus turning the attention inward and internally. Wrong? No. Necessary sometimes? Yes. Is it enough and sufficient for growth? No. Self love is going to be doing the work that is required to help you to continue to grow, to help you maintain your boundaries, and to reach the levels that you have for yourself. You have goals for yourself, you have levels, things that you want to achieve. It's the self love that's going to allow you to get there. So, what does self love look like? So, we looked at some of the self soothing and the feel good. Self love looks like going to bed on time, establishing and maintaining a bedtime routine. Self love is saying no when you need to say no. Granted, that's not necessarily an easy thing, but that is a skill that you can again practice, build, and develop. Self love looks like engaging in counseling or going to therapy if you know you need support and help, giving yourself permission to be human, to work through the issues that you know you need to work through. You know yourself, you know the baggage that you're carrying, and that is draining you. Self love is giving yourself permission to do the work around that in a therapeutic setting. Self love is also moving your body and taking care of your body. Have you gotten the messages that you need to move more? Are you putting into practice or establishing a routine to help get you there? Self love is drinking water, staying hydrated. I have to put routines into practice myself to make sure I'm staying hydrated, but getting that water in. Self love is also the difficult work of having hard conversations, having those uncomfortable exchanges, leaving unhealthy situations and relationships, and also holding yourself accountable. Again, it's shifting from those external feel goods to the internal work around your personal growth and your personal development. The self soothing behavior and the feel goods do just that. They make you feel good for a moment, but they're fleeting, they are not permanent. Self love is going to help you become better for the long term. So, why is it that we all flock to the feel goods? For that very reason, it feels good. It feels good. Many people know that I need to be working on XYZ. I ought to be working on XYZ, but that takes work. And let's be honest, a lot of people are stressed, bandwidth is limited, you are spread thin, you're doing this, that, and the other. And the idea of doing more work, even if it's on yourself, I'll get to it later. But you don't. So if it's easier to dive into this bag of chips that feels good in the moment, then I'll do that versus doing the hard work of what's driving me to eat emotionally to begin with. It's about avoiding the discomfort. It's about not being comfortable being uncomfortable. It's the fear of conflict, it's the fear of change. It is all those difficult emotions that we don't want to deal with. We tend to want that quick emotional relief. We live in a culture that is very much about quick and easy gratification. And so sometimes doing that internal work takes time. It takes attention to detail. And that's something that we're not ready to commit or dedicate our time to. And if you tie enough of these feel goods together, okay, I'm going to do a bubble bath here, a wine night here, go to a party there, something else, then I can fool myself into thinking that I'm feeling better. But all of that stuff in the background is still at play. We get messages all the time that say that that self-love is the equivalent of indulgence. You deserve it, so do what feels good. But real love can be tough. Real love can be tough love. And love sometimes needs to be structured, it needs to be organized, it needs to be disciplined. And that is a part of self love as well. Avoiding that inner work with statements like, well, I had a hard day, so it's okay for me to eat this tub of ice cream. Now I may just be talking about myself. Or I can say, I'm justified to dive my head into all this work that I have to do because I have to be productive. But by doing so, it is allowing me to avoid difficult conversations. Maybe I can say, well, it's been a hard week and I've done enough. I've extended myself enough. I don't need to work out. Are you saying some of these statements to yourself to justify avoiding doing some of the work that you need to do on yourself? So let's go on and be honest. You need to take an honest assessment about how you are approaching your habits and self love. Are you loving yourself? Are you practicing self love? Or are you just practicing self soothing behaviors? Are you engaging in behaviors that make you feel good in the moment, temporarily, but then pass as soon as that is done or soon after? What hard things are you avoiding in the name of air quotes self care or self love? Just questions to ask. Where is it that you need to apply more discipline to yourself, to your behaviors instead of comfort? How would your goals be impacted if you chose to practice the self love routines and behaviors that we're talking about here over the next few weeks, months, year? Explore, ask yourself, just be honest and do so without judgment. This isn't a shaking a finger at you and tisk 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 and oh you should have done. This is the self-love. This is the work of self-love. Being honest with yourself, doing a self-assessment and asking where can I make some adjustments? Where do I need to make some adjustments? One of the things I mentioned when it comes to self-love is the idea of boundaries. And so this is huge when we're talking about self-love because self-love requires some sense of boundaries. You cannot grow in a particular area, achieve goals that you have for yourself without defining, establishing, and enforcing some boundaries around the things that you feel are important. Because the world and life is coming for you. There's always going to be something, someone that is wanting, needing, or requiring your attention, time, energy, fill in the blank. But if you don't identify, establish, and try to enforce some sense of boundaries around the things that are important to you, then they're going to be compromised and you're going to lose that space, whatever it is, that space, that thing, that time that you feel is important. And in this instance, we're talking about yourself. We're talking about your personal goals, your personal development, whatever it is. You're going to lose that if you don't identify some boundaries to protect what you feel is important. And it's not about demonizing or saying that those things that are coming for you are bad, wrong, evil, anything. It's not about that. It's just life. Something is always requiring your attention, your time, whatever. And those things are not coming from a bad place, not all the time anyway. They're not necessarily coming from a bad place, but if you don't put some defense, some boundaries around what's important to you, then those boundaries, those lines become a little porous and things start slipping in. And the next thing you know, the space, the time, your sense of self ends up disappearing. I can't tell you how many times I've sat across from women in particular who will often say they feel like they've lost themselves. They've been giving, they've been doing, they've been supporting, they've been encouraging everybody and everything else, whether it's family, whether it's organizations, whatever, and they don't feel like they are getting that in return and they feel like they've lost themselves. This is why you have to have boundaries in place. You have to be able to communicate and say no. I know that that's not easy. It's a skill. You can develop it, you can sharpen it, you can hone it. You have to be able to say no in order to protect your energy. Boundaries are about protecting your space, protecting your energy, protecting what's important to you and being able to communicate your needs, being able to say no, being able to protect your space without feeling guilty, without having a need to over explain why you're choosing to do so. Just letting that sit for a minute. Allowing yourself to protect your energy and limit access to your time. Any adult will tell you they feel like they don't have enough time to do the things that they need to do. So then that means you need to be thoughtful and intentional about the time that you're using. And when we don't enforce boundaries, we compromise our time and we allow other people, other things to get access to our time. So if it's truly important to you, then you're going to need to protect your time as well. When you keep saying yes to everybody else, you're saying no to yourself. And that's not self love. That is not an example of self love, self care. That's dismissing your needs, that's abandoning your needs for everybody else's. So think about how this plays out in your holiday rituals, routines. Does it have you saying yes to everything and everybody to the point that you're just really trying to run away so nobody can ask you? How is it playing out in the workplace? Are you putting yourself on a path to burnout because you are saying yes to this and yes to that request when really it might be a little bit more than you can handle? And it's not necessary that you take on these things. They're not tied to your job. I know sometimes the workplace dynamics, there can be unofficial this and that sort of thing, but are there things you're committing to or taking on that really you can't afford not to take on? How does it play out with your family relationships and in those family dynamics? Who keeps coming to you, knowing that you're going to be the one to help them out? You're the one who always has the answers. You're the one that always makes it happen. And are you getting to a place where you're trying to cut off all of these folks who keep coming to you because you haven't learned how to communicate your no to those family members? And how is it showing up just in general when it comes to committing to different activities, different organizations, whatever it is that you are involved with, connected in? Are you overcommitted? Honestly, are you overcommitted and, as they say, doing too much? And asking yourself, what are you gaining in the back door by overextending yourself in all of these different settings? What is it that you're gaining? Are you wanting to appear that you're self-sacrificing, the strong one, the one who's doing everything. This is part of the internal work that needs to happen. So, part of self-love is identifying and establishing boundaries, and self-love is the discipline. It's the work. It's the core work that I'm often talking about. And discipline is not a bad thing. It's not about punishment. It's about protecting what's important to you. If we go back to some of those things as far as what self love could look like, going to bed on time, it's about protecting that sleep. How important is that sleep to you? Again, those who know me know I don't play about my sleep. Maybe for you, it's something else, but self love is about protecting that and exercising the discipline around whatever it is that's important. Sleep, your health, your mental clarity, your long term goals. What is important enough to you to implement and exercise some discipline around it? Oftentimes, we want to equate doing a lot and doing the most with love and self-love, but it really can be the opposite. It really can be the small, just daily habits, steps that we're doing on a consistent basis as opposed to intensity. We're focused on consistency when it comes to practicing self love. Being able to do that consistently on a daily basis, that's hard work, but that is a reflection of self love. Self love is also about taking care of and attending to your mental health. Y'all, we are living in some unique and highly stressful and really frequently traumatic times. There is a lot going on in our world that we probably didn't expect to have to deal with. And so we are getting a lot just collectively. Then when you step back into your individual microcosm and whatever it is that you're carrying, you've got your own set of stressors, problems, situations that you're dealing with. To ignore the fact that you need additional support, to not give yourself permission to ask for help, to allow yourself to continue to plug forward day to day with a weight of mental stress or baggage that you know you need to sort through and could benefit from putting the weight down. That's not self love. That's not serving you well. This is about giving yourself permission to be human. I'm passionate here because the same folks that I will see overcommitted, giving and extending themselves to everyone and everything else, those are the ones that are drained, that are tapped out, that are building resentment internally towards all of these different things, people, and situations. And these folks have great hearts, great intention, but need support as well. And so by ignoring your need to engage in counseling or go to therapy or take your medication or take some time off for rest or admitting that you need support or choosing rest without feeling guilty about it and just stopping the shoulda, coulda, wouldas that are running through your head, it's not self love. You are human. And regardless of what anybody else's path was, that's their path, that's their journey. You're the only one living your life. You're the only one who knows what all you're carrying and what all you're dealing with. And if you need additional support, give yourself permission to be human and admit that I need some additional support. I need some help. I can't keep doing all this by myself. And look at the resources, whether it is a formal therapeutic counseling need or not. Give yourself permission to ask for help, to be human, to admit that you need help and support and take advantage of that. Ignoring what you need and claiming that I'm good, I'm fine, everything is fine. That is not self love. Again, you're abandoning yourself, you're abandoning your needs, and you are practicing almost toxic positivity just for the sake of being positive or falling into a template of what should be. You got to be honest with yourself about what you need. And self love allows you to not be okay. It allows you to be in a space of struggle. It allows you to be in a space where you're needing some support. That's often where the strength lies, is in the struggle. That's why self love is work. That's why self love is core work. Core work, what I'm constantly preaching. You have got to make a commitment. You got to know what it is that you actually need. Do that self assessment. Be honest with yourself about what your needs are, what you can handle, and what you can't, and be okay with that. And then you've got to own it. Once you recognize that, be able to own whatever those patterns are, whatever it is that you're needing to address, doing so without judgment, from a compassionate, non judgmental perspective, without shame. Taking time to rest and reflect and pause before you react in response to a request coming from other people, things, entities, whatever. Don't go on autopilot and automatically, yes, I can. Okay, I will. Especially when you know you can't afford to, or you don't have but so much bandwidth, blah, blah, blah. Take time to rest and reflect, pause before you react and respond automatically or impulsively, and engage. Gather and engage the right resources and supports that will help you navigate your season and help you develop the skills of self love. It's a skill. This is not necessarily something that comes naturally. This is a skill set. And so engage the support systems and the resources that will help you build and establish that skill set. And I have to practice these things too. So, what core work has been for me is doing that self assessment and acknowledging where I am in this particular season of my life. Not where I was, not even 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, but where am I right now? And what is important to me right now? So, therefore, what do I need to protect? Where do I need to establish boundaries? What do I need to establish boundaries around so that I can protect what is important to me and grow in the areas that are important to me? What goals do I have for myself that I'm trying to achieve? I've got to get clear on what that is for me today in this season and not compare it to past seasons or what I want it to be down the line, but focus on what's right for me right now. And it actually includes doing my 14 days to better boundaries challenge. This is a challenge that I'm currently running online on YouTube and Twitch, and this is something that I'm streaming it for the public. I'm also working through it myself. And so these are things that help me to continue to practice, hone, develop, and keep these skills top of mind because self love is a discipline, it's a practice, it requires ongoing attention. Core work requires discipline, practice, and ongoing attention. So it's not something that you achieve, you get done, and you're like, "Hey, I'm good. I've achieved self-love. I don't have to do anything else." No, it's an ongoing practice. And so doing the 14 days to better boundaries is a way for me to stay up on my self-love skills. So, all that to say, self love is work. If you haven't gotten the message, self love is work. Self love is not always pretty, self love is not always easy. It may look boring, it may look small, it may appear to be slow and unengaging, and it might be the quiet stuff, the things that don't get a lot of attention or a lot of applause. Most people are not going to get a lot of applause for getting a full night's rest, but it's important to me. That's what it might look like. Slow, repetitive, quiet, unassuming, but those practices, those self love skills and intentions build stability. They build a foundation and they build protection around the things that are important to you and ensure that you're not abandoning yourself, your energy, and your goals. The most loving thing you can do for yourself oftentimes is not the flashy stuff, it's the consistent stuff. That said, I appreciate you taking the time to join me. If you feel like you need to do some work around your self love skills and are looking for some ways to do that, then I encourage you to go check out Core Work Foundations, available at psycorefit.com. That is a self guided program that you can engage in to help you build your personal growth and learn how to build better boundaries. You can also participate in the free Better Boundaries Challenge, 14-day Better Boundaries Challenge that is available on YouTube. Or maybe you don't want to do anything that I'm offering. Maybe you just need to take one day and be intentional about focusing on yourself and practicing some self love in action, not the self soothing behaviors, but the self work where you flip the spotlight from the external to the internal and focus on what things you need to do to improve and promote your personal development and your personal growth. So, again, let me be clear. I am not anti bubble bath. I have one on the agenda for today. They are awesome. They are great. Bubble baths are fine. But self love, real self love, that's the work. That's the core work. It's like the old cosmetic line that says, and I'm worth it. Well, you're worth the work of self love. You are worth doing that core work. You are worth the work. Don't abandon yourself. Choose to do the work of self love. Thanks so much for joining, and I look forward to hanging out with you next time. Take care, y'all.